When you look at Zoran's election in Tennessee special, it looks like Trump was really able to activate the Republican base vote when he intervened in these specials. I don't think we can ever count on that happening again. Like, as much as I love shitting on Matt Iglesias, I don't think he's wrong about this necessarily. I think he's wrong to shift the blame over to like liberals who were excited about the race. All right. We're going to get to some politics right now for all the politics enjoyers and politics demanders. We're going to start with Tennessee. I'll eat your spice bag. This curry does not taste like curry. I'll be honest with you.
The push by Democrats to flip a Republican seat in Congress fell short in Tennessee. Republican Matt Van Epps won that special election. It was seen as a local referendum on the president's first year in office. With all the latest on this story, Nicole, good morning to you.
Good morning. A big win for Republican Matt Van Epps in a district that has historically been red, but this time around the election was surprisingly competitive. The first-time GOP candidate won last night by single digits over Afton Bain, a Democratic state representative here. This result is much closer than what we saw play out a year ago when President Trump scored a 22-point victory here. It's the reason Democratic officials now say Republicans should be, quote, shaking in their boots.
Sad regardless. No reason to deny it. Even though she closed a 22-point gap, still sad. And I got a lot of thoughts on this issue. I'm going to get into it in a second. Your desktop is showing please have mercy. Oh, this? Okay, chatter, calm down. You know, it's not the end of the world if you see my desktop. Yeah, from 22 to 9 points. Pretty good.
Ahead of next year's midterms. The tight margins led to a massive amount of money pouring into both campaigns. In fact, a CBS News analysis found at least $8 million was spent on the race, with more than $6 million donated by outside groups. Van Epps received more than $1 million from President Trump's super PAC, and support for his campaign surged after getting the president's endorsement back in October. Now, Van Epps last night said that Trump's endorsement, quote, made all the difference. He will be finishing out the term of retired former Representative Mark Green, but will have to run for re-election again in 2026.
Nicole, thank you.
Overnight, there was a special election for an open house seat in the state of Tennessee, and the Republican candidate won. And a win is a win, right? Well, still, Democrats seem to be smiling this morning. Why? Because the margin of defeat was much slimmer than Republicans have been doing in that district. With us now, CNN Chief Data Analyst Harry Enton. Let's talk about the numbers.
Let's talk about the numbers. Republicans should be running for the hills this morning because the blue wave is building, my dear friend, Mr. Berman. What are we talking about here? Well, Matt Van Epps, the Republican candidate, he won it by 9, but this is a district that Donald Trump won by 22 points, 15 points, 17 points. This is a 13-point gain for the Democrats in terms of the margin, and excuse time for Republicans is over, because I hear all about these special elections. Oh, the turnout's so low, it's not representative of what happened in a midterm election. The turnout last night in Tennessee's 7th district was equal to the turnout in the 2022 midterm election. So the blue wave, it seems to be building right out of center.
Interesting. I mean, so in terms of the numbers, the turnout looked like a regular midterm election, not a special election.
Exactly right. Exactly right. And of course, we have, what about 11 months?
All right. What have we seen in terms of trends in all the special elections the last year?
Okay. You know, I wouldn't necessarily give a hooting and hollering about one special election in Tennessee. I love the people in Central Tennessee, but Central Tennessee is nothing special compared to the rest of the country. But what we see happening is, take a look here. Okay, 2025 U.S. House special elections. Dems outrunning Kamala Harris. A lot of blue here, a lot of blue, which is what I think the nation might look like a year from now if these results hold. Arizona 7, you see a 17 outperformance of Kamala Harris. 23 points in Florida 1, 16 points in Florida 6, 13 points in Tennessee 7, 28 points in Texas 28, and then 17 points in Virginia 11. So we've seen it throughout the nation, whether you go from the suburbs of Washington, D.C., all the way to the southwest in Arizona, whether you're looking at Texas, whether you're looking at Tennessee, whether you go down to Florida, we have seen the Democratic outperformance of Kamala Harris happening across the political map. What happened last night in Tennessee ain't just staying in Tennessee. It is spreading itself throughout the nation. As I said, to me, looking at these results, it looks like a blue wave is building.
And it's not just that it's blue, it's that it's double-digit blue.
It is exactly right. It's double-digit blue. I will note, I looked at the stats. If, in fact, you had a 13-point shift like we saw in Tennessee, and you applied that to the 2024 presidential map, we are talking about a gain for Democrats. 40 seats.
All right, in terms of the history, what does this mean as we project forward?
Okay, so we're looking at these special elections. We're sort of applying these hypothetical numbers, right, in terms of, Democrats would gain north of 40 seats if, you moved everything over, 13 points from the 2024 presidential result. But we actually have
How's the spice bag? It's pretty good. But then again, I've had alcohol in my system. So, but yeah, I get why people like it. That room's so cozy, bro. I know. It's grandma's room. An Irish buddy of mine says it's the best hangover food. Yeah, I had pints. I had a spice bag. I'm Irish now.
To show that what happens in special elections doesn't just stay in special elections. It spills over to the midterm results. Special elections and midterm results. I just keep going to this. When a party outperformed in special elections since 2005, 5 out of 5 times they went on to win a majority in the U.S. House of Representatives. What happened last night in Tennessee is a very, very bad omen for Republicans and a very, very good omen for Democrats.
Ariette, thank you very much.
Thank you, my friend.
This morning, the results are in, and the Republican candidate won a special election for an open seat in Tennessee. The Republican won. So why are Democrats smiling? You're looking at the results here. Matt Van Epps beat Afton Ben by about 9 points. But this is a really red district. It's a district that President Trump won by 22 points last year. With us now, CNN chief political analyst David Axelrod. And Ax, when we look at the list of special elections over the last year, this was a 13-point swing in Tennessee. 13 swings of, 17, 19, 16, 12. What's really impressive is I did all that math on the fly. But what do these trends tell you? If you're in the party right now in Congress, what are you thinking?
Well, first of all, a little noted fact about this election was the Republicans came in like gangbusters at the end to save Van Epps, and they were successful. What they needed to do was they needed to pump up the turnout, because the lower the turnout, the better her chances. The turnout yesterday in that district was unusually high for a special, so it really mirrored a midterm.
Yeah, that sucks.
So let's think of it as a midterm election, and their candidate ran, 13 points behind, where even with a favorable turnout, where you'd expect a Republican turnout, or where the last Republican did in the last midterms. This is, look, I think they're relieved, and Democrats are encouraged. They're relieved that they didn't lose a seat, but I would not if I were advising the Republicans, and I'm sure
that election could have been won if it didn't become a nationally significant campaign. By the time I got around to it, the Republicans had already decided that this was a nationally significant campaign. When you look at Zoran's election in Tennessee special, it looks like Trump was really able to activate the Republican base vote when he intervened in these specials. I don't think we can ever count on that happening again. Like, as much as I love shitting on Matt Iglesias, I don't think he's wrong about this necessarily. I think he's wrong to shift the blame over to like liberals who were excited about the race. But yeah, this could have been a low turnout, sneaky ass win for Afton Bain, but the Republicans saw how close the polls were and freaked out. And I think that's the reason why the results turned out the way that they did. It sucks, but it's the truth. And Matt Iglesias sucks, but he's not entirely wrong.
Advisors are telling them, we survived, we didn't thrive, and this is another warning sign about the midterm.
And healthcare was a big issue in that campaign, the expiring Obamacare subsidies.
That was what she ran on.
And there's no resolution on that on December 3rd.
No, I think this is interesting. How will members of Congress who are now right up against it, the Senate's going to vote, probably do nothing, how are they going to deal with this issue of these expiring tax credits for the Affordable Care Act? And I read the result. Look, the Republican in the race his ads at the end mirrored the Democrat. Affordability, health care. what are they going to do? Are they actually going to let these exponential increases in premiums go through? If they do, I think they do it at great peril.
Yeah, look, I don't think we even understand what the political consequences would be because we haven't seen anything like that happen so quickly, relatively
and
speaking.
John, we ought to point out that
it's not CNN's fault. Come on. Before CNN even interviewed Afton Bain, Donald Trump was doing voice messages to Michael Penis inside of the Tennessee state boundaries. Mike Johnson, the Speaker of the House, was in Tennessee campaigning for every single day for the last week. No, Republicans recognized this is a far better assessment. Okay? Dave Weigel says, Bain wins crowded primary. Republicans exhale because she's very hard sell in the rurals. And Van Epps was their strongest candidate. Then Bain catches fire in Nashville and Dem trending areas while Republican voters sleep. Last second, Republicans scramble resources, Club for Growth money, Johnson visit to wake up Republican voters while using the reels of Bain being left-wing footage. And it wasn't even that like they had left-wing footage of her or anything like that. It's just that she didn't have enough time to present herself as like a serious contender before the negative opposition shit came in. District was unwinnable no matter what. That's not true. There's no such thing. There's no such thing as an unwinnable district. I don't believe that. You enjoying that spice bag, my guy? I'm fucking it up. Yes, I'm eating a spice bag. And it's actually pretty bomb. Anyway.
It's coming at a time when healthcare premiums overall are rising, and people are not going to distinguish between the Affordable Care Act premiums and the general rise in premiums. They're going to look at it and they're going to say, they didn't do anything, and now I'm paying.
You talked about affordability.
Yes.
President Trump spoke a little bit about affordability in a way that I think probably alarmed some of his political advisors.
I would think so.
Listen.
Yeah.
There's this fake narrative that the Democrats talk about, affordability. They just say the word. It doesn't mean anything to anybody. They just say it. Affordability. I inherited the worst inflation in history. There was no affordability. Nobody could afford anything. The word affordability is a con job by the Democrats.
Yeah. Look, I don't know whether he wasn't paying attention during the last election, but this is exactly how Joe Biden got in trouble, by insisting that the economy was strong, that the inflation issue was under control. When people were going to the grocery store and going, paying their rent and their insurance and all of their costs, and they saw in real time what was happening, and it's still happening. We're no better off on inflation today than we were the day he walked in. And how long can you keep blaming the last guy for your problems? You know, the Harry Truman said the buck stops here. The motto of this administration seems to be,
stop eating and answer your best friend. Have you heard of me? Please acknowledge me. Stop eating and answer your best friend, please. Take a day off. Always eating? Yeah, I am. Okay, I've officially run out of chicken. The rest of the spice bag is just fries. But yeah, it's fried chicken For those of you who are wondering what Spice Bag is Irish drunk food. It's a bag full of chicken and fries with it's a bag full of fried chicken, like chicken tenders, fries, peppers and onions. And then they put curry sauce on it. And let me tell you, they call this Chinese food, which is crazy. I cannot believe they call this Chinese food. It's actually a heinous crime to call this Chinese food. From the fridge to the tree, Kaya will be free. From the fridge to the tree, Kaya will be free. Champagne Socialist, Lamau. Hell yeah, chatter. Fucking owned. Shitting on Tate is old, dude. You just sit here and talk about people, other people in a negative way. From the fridge to the tree, Kai will be free. Dude's been doing this since 2023, man. Give it a rest, brother.
Buck stops there.
He seems so pained talking about it. He came off the pain a little bit with Mamdani a week and a half ago, but now it just seems like it's like the Fonz who could never say he was sorry. I don't know if you remember Happy Days.
Yes.
Like President Trump seems to not be able to get the word affordability out.
No, because I think he recognized, he promised to very quickly bring down prices. That was the offer in the election. He's failed, and that's the reason his numbers are tumbling more than anything else.
David Axelrod, great.